The day I realized $50,000 had simply evaporated from my retirement account, I felt a cold dread. Every year, invisible cognitive errors drain more from your portfolio than inflation, taxes, and fees combined. And you never see the bill. Dalbar's 2025 study measured it. The average equity investor earned 6.3% annually, while the S&P 500 returned 10.2%. That gap has a name. Behavioral economists call it the behavior gap. It is not market risk, it is not fees. It is your own psychology sabotaging your capital. There is something specific about personal finance that most explanations get wrong. We will come back to it. 7 cognitive biases are responsible, each one invisible, each one expensive, and your brain runs all 7 simultaneously right now while you watch this. Your brain is 400,000 years old. It evolved to dodge predators and hoard calories. It did not evolve to evaluate price-to-earnings ratios or 30-year compounding curves. And there is one crucial element of financial success that almost no one talks about. Keep that in mind as we proceed. Trap 1. Loss aversion. In 1979, Kahneman and Tversky proved something uncomfortable. Losing $100 hurts roughly twice as much as gaining $100 feels good. This is why you sell your winning stocks too early and hold your losing stocks too long. The pain of crystallizing a loss paralyzes you. Meanwhile, the position bleeds. Terence O'Dean studied 10,000 brokerage accounts. Investors held losing positions an average of 124 days. Winners sold after just 102. That asymmetry cost them 4.4% annually. I have seen this pattern countless times. A client, let's call her Sarah, held onto a stock that had dropped 70%, convinced it would come back. Meanwhile, her profitable investments were sold off quickly, denying them further growth. The emotional cost of realizing a loss was simply too high. I have seen this pattern countless times. A client refused to sell a declining stock, unable to stomach admitting defeat. He watched it fall another 30%, losing thousands. You check your portfolio, it is down 3%, your chest tightens, you want to sell everything. That visceral reaction is loss aversion operating in real time. The antidote is mechanical. Set stop losses before you buy. Write the exit price on paper. Decide when you are calm, not when your amygdala is screaming. Trap 2. Anchoring. A jacket is marked $800, crossed out, now $400. You feel clever. But the jacket was always worth $200. In real estate, the asking price becomes your anchor. Northcraft and Neal's 1987 study showed even professional appraisers were swayed by arbitrary listing prices by up to 12%. Your stock purchase price is another anchor. As one seasoned investor told me, the market doesn't care what you paid for a stock. It only cares about its present and future value. And your emotional attachment is irrelevant. You bought at 42, so 40 feels like a loss. One client confessed, I held on to that stock for years, waiting for it to get back to what I paid, knowing it was a dead end. But the market does not remember what you paid. Only you do. The cure: ignore every price except the one you calculate yourself. Intrinsic value is the only anchor that does not lie to you. Consider your largest holding right now. Do you know its intrinsic value, or only what you paid for it? The difference matters more than you think. Remember what I said about personal finance? Most explanations focus on math, but it's your psychology that dictates your financial fate. Trap 3. Present bias. You already know the marshmallow experiment, but here is the adult version, and it is far more costly than a missed dessert. $100 today or $150 next year, most take the cash. Repeated monthly over a career, that choice costs roughly $600,000. Brain imaging reveals why. Immediate rewards activate your limbic system, the same circuitry that wants sugar and warmth. Future rewards require prefrontal cortex effort. Your brain prefers easy. Remember that crucial element of financial success. It's not about what you earn, but how effectively you prevent your own brain from sabotaging it. $5 daily on convenience, $35 per week. Over 20 years at 8%, that daily FI becomes $91,000. Your limbic system hides this number. The countermeasure is automation. Set up the transfer before the paycheck clears. You cannot spend what your hands never touch. Remove the decision entirely. Trap 4. Herding. In 1999, your neighbor was making 30% on tech stocks. By March 2000, everyone was in. By October 2002, the Nasdaq had lost 78%. On the savannah, running when others ran kept you alive. In markets, buying when others buy guarantees you are paying the highest price. Evolution failed to update the manual. Social media accelerated herding to milliseconds. A trending ticker becomes a stampede. By the time you hear about it at dinner, the smart money has already exited. Late 2021, your colleagues discussed altcoins at lunch. Taxi drivers had portfolios. By late 2022, $2 trillion in market value had evaporated. The herd moved together, off a cliff. Warren Buffett said it plainly, "Be fearful when others are greedy, greedy when others are fearful." The discomfort you feel going against the crowd, that is the price of alpha. 4 traps down, 3 remaining. And here is the uncomfortable question. How many of these have you recognized in your own portfolio decisions this year? These biases do not operate in isolation. They compound. Loss aversion triggers herding. Anchoring reinforces present bias. Your brain is running a coordinated campaign against your net worth. Trap 5. The sunk cost fallacy. A man holds a stock down 60%. $40,000 gone. He says, "I cannot sell now. The money is already gone." Every dollar you have invested in the past is irrelevant to the decision you face today. Yesterday's cost is not today's reason. You finish a bad movie because you paid for the ticket. You keep a gym membership you never use. The logic is identical. Past spending should not dictate present behavior. Britain and France poured billions into Concorde long after the project was clearly unprofitable. They named the fallacy after it. Nations are not immune. Ask yourself, if I held cash instead of this position, would I buy it again at this price? If no, you already know. Trap 6. Mental accounting. Richard Thaler won the Nobel Prize partly for identifying this. You treat money differently depending on where it came from or what you labeled it. Your tax refund feels like a bonus. A gambling win feels like free money. But every dollar has identical purchasing power regardless of its origin. MIT researchers found people will pay up to 64% more with credit cards than cash. The pain of handing over physical bills activates loss aversion. Plastic bypasses it entirely. You carry credit card debt at 19% while protecting your vacation fund earning 2%. Mathematically absurd. Emotionally logical. That is mental accounting at work. The principle is fungibility. A dollar is a dollar regardless of the mental jar you put it in. Tear up the labels. Optimize the total, not the categories. Trap 7. Confirmation bias. The most dangerous because it protects all the others. You seek information that confirms what you already believe and ignore everything that contradicts it. Your newsfeed is not neutral. Algorithms serve you content that matches your existing beliefs. Your financial worldview narrows daily without you noticing. You buy a stock. Then you read only bullish analysis. You join forums of holders. Dissenting voices feel hostile. You build an echo chamber around your capital. Enron analysts rated it a buy until weeks before bankruptcy. The warning signs were visible, but their thesis was written. The data had to fit. Before every investment, write 3 specific reasons it could fail. If you cannot find 3, you have not researched enough. 7 traps. 7 countermeasures. But knowing them is not enough. Kahneman himself admitted he still falls for these biases after decades of studying them. Willpower is a finite resource. You cannot outthink your own brain. The solution is architecture. Build systems that make the correct decision automatic and the wrong decision difficult. Airline pilots do not rely on instinct. They follow checklists. Surgeons use checklists. Your portfolio deserves the same discipline. Write yours. Follow it without exception. System 1. Automate your contributions. A fixed monthly transfer into a diversified index fund neutralizes present bias, herding, loss aversion, and mental accounting simultaneously. System 2. Write an investment policy statement. Define your allocation, your rebalancing schedule, and your exit criteria before emotion enters the room. Then follow it like a contract. System 3. A 72-hour cooling period for decisions over $5,000. If the opportunity vanishes in 3 days, it was urgency, not opportunity. Morningstar's 2025 report found systematic investors narrowed the behavior gap to under 1%. Over 30 years, that difference exceeds $400,000. Doing nothing is also a decision. If you leave this episode and change nothing, these 7 biases will continue to compound against you. Silently. Relentlessly. Building wealth is not about making brilliant decisions. It is about eliminating terrible ones. The greatest investors in history are not geniuses. They are disciplined subtractors. Charlie Munger put it simply, "All I want to know is where I am going to die, so I will never go there. Identify the mistakes. Avoid them." Every bias left unchecked is a silent tax, not paid to any government. Paid directly from your future to your past. The capital you lose to cognitive errors does not just disappear. It was the inheritance your grandchildren will never receive. Biases steal from futures not yet born. That 3.9% behavior gap from the Dalbar study? It is not a market phenomenon. It is a mirror. And now you know exactly what it is reflecting. So the question is not whether these traps exist. The question is what you will build to defend against them. Your brain will not change. It has had 400,000 years of programming. But your systems can. And systems, unlike willpower, do not have bad days. Next week, we examine the mathematics your financial advisor hopes you never learn. The fee structures that quietly transfer your compounding gains into someone else's retirement. This is the quiet wealth.